Morning, Mikhail. We will start uh in about 5, 6 minutes. The first
Okay.
10 minutes is the welcome.
Morning. Sorry about that.
Morning. We'll wait maybe 4 or 5 minutes more um to make sure everyone's attending. Yeah. Okay, I guess we'll start slowly. Um, Sorry, my voice is a bit with the cold. I catch a cold last weekend, and my voice since then had changed a bit. Um, and uh, Nice to meet you, Michael. Currently, we're facing some technical issue with our main account, so I don't have the list of all the registrant. So I'll know it maybe by 9:30. But I guess we will start. I am the Guinsly Mondésir, the virtual reference librarian at Scholars Portal. With me, my colleague Sabina and Gabby. Um, and We'll do a formal presentation a bit later, I guess. We'll start. I know that it's only Michael who's the only participant currently, but hopefully we'll have more participants later. So then we will uh, uh, we'll do before we start some uh, let's say one trivia. Um, Share. Okay, this is a question. Um, can you help me? I need to find my classmate at the library on campus. Do you know what is the name of this library? Do you have any idea? You can type it on the chat. First one is TG Ivy Library, Douglas G. I forgot what was the G for. The University of Toronto, New College. There is the Brian Dixon Library, Ottawa University. Uh, there's the Douglas Library. Sorry, the first one, DG, believe is Donald, not Douglas. C is Douglas Library, and there is the DB Weldon Library at Western University. Um, Feel free to pick a guess on this beautiful, I don't know, is it cathedral? I don't know, this architecture.
Um, I think it looks like a law library. I think I'm seeing law books. So I would say that it is the Brian Dixon Library at University of Ottawa. That's my guess.
Okay. Um, let's see if Gabby or Sabina knows.
I was gonna guess the Weldon Library at Western because I think it's like an old building and it has windows like that. Sabina went to Western, so she has an advantage
I went
on
to
this
Not
one.
so
Western.
She's
quite.
shaking her head at me. I think I'm wrong.
Okay.
I went to Western and I went to Queens, and I know it's neither
Yes.
of those.
Okay. Um, Let me.
Then I'm gonna
Uh,
change mine and back up Michael and say that it's the Ottawa Library.
Yeah, I don't think
Seems
it's
like a solid
New
guess.
College because I was at U of T, but I
And New
don't
College is
remember.
the one with like the like it's dark and it has like red carpet. Is that am I thinking of the right one?
It's like a modern one. It's the
Yeah,
modern one. Yeah.
yeah.
okay. The answer is the Douglas Library at Queens.
Oh,
They have what is the Stauffer? Is it Stauffer, the main library? And then they have another library as well. But I could say that I would have said it's New College, or there's a lot of library at University of Toronto that looks a bit similar. Um, so yeah, so I wanted to find a different picture instead of all concrete, I could say. Uh, so let's Oh, okay, the Harry Potter reading room. Okay, I believe is in your college, Harry Potter reading room.
No, in Douglas
Oh, okay,
Library.
okay,
They
okay,
this the stacks do not look nearly that pretty in Douglas, but they do have this fancy reading room, which I guess is what that is.
okay. Yes, perfect. That image was from Instagram account, so it has been enhanced. There's other image of this library, but that one was the most uh, appealing or more beautiful, I could say. So let's stop, and I will. How can I stop sharing? Uh, I will hand it over to Gabby to start the first part, the first topic that we'll see today.
Yeah. Can I just mention
Yes.
I'm working at the circulation desk today because one of our
Okay.
staff is absent, so I could
Okay.
be interrupted.
Okay. Yes, you can turn off your camera as well. Okay. Thanks. And the presentation is being recorded. Great.
Yeah, we are recording and we'll edit out all the bits before we post it.
Can you hear me okay? Is my audio okay?
Yes.
Okay. And can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Good morning. So as Guinsly mentioned, I'm Gabby Crowley. I'm the client services librarian at Scholars Portal. So I work across a number of our services, including Ask, both in this capacity for training, but also as one of the operators. So I'm going to get started today with a bit of background about Scholars Portal and about OCUL, just to lay some context for Ask Librarian as a service, and then a bit about the history of virtual reference services in Ontario universities. And I'll also give an overview of the different moving parts of Ask a Librarian specifically, including a quick look at Library Help, which is the platform that we use for Ask. But then Guinsly will give a more thorough walkthrough of that and the actual platform and sort of working as an operator. So starting with an introduction to OCUL. So OCUL is the Ontario Council of University Libraries. It's a consortium of the university libraries across Ontario, meaning it's sort of it's a collective membership with shared governance and collaboration via representatives from these member libraries through things like committee work. So there's various committees of the library directors, the associate university librarians, collaborative projects and initiatives. We have a number of local communities and things like that. So sort of pulled from the OCUL website, but that OCUL's mission is really to advance research, teaching, and learning, collaborating at scale in the development and delivery of innovative and transformative services, resources, and digital research infrastructure for Ontario's universities. So the primary goal is collaboration and shared expertise to really maximize the resources and capacity and provide shared services. More broadly, that shared digital information infrastructure, which includes Scholars Portal as sort of the service provider, we'll get to in a moment, or the service arm of OCUL. But it also includes initiatives like collaborative features or specifically sort of Omni, as you might be more familiar with, that shared academic discovery layer and search interface at most local libraries. And in practice, these collaborations and shared services includes collective purchasing for e-resources and OCUL negotiating licensing agreements for e-resources on behalf of local schools. But it also includes collaboration in planning and advocacy, assessment, research, partnerships, communication, professional development. So, OCUL serves a pretty diverse population of university library stakeholders. Sort of see on the screen here, there's a really wide variety diversity of needs when it comes to reference support, because some of these schools have significantly larger or smaller student populations. U of T is right at the top with a full-time equivalency of over 90,000 students. while other universities like NASM, Université de la Française, and Université de Hearst have student populations below 500, actually, at least as of, these numbers are from 2024, the student so some of these schools are primarily undergraduate and teaching institutions, while others have really large graduate programs, research projects, and schools associated with them, professional programs like law and medical schools. And as I said, this is from sort of 2024 numbers, but the total university population across the OCUL membership as of 2024 was so 556,000, 57,000, roughly around there. So quite big. And this map here, it's a few years out of date. You can see it's still referred to as Ryerson rather than TMU on here, but the map shows where these OCUL member libraries are located. So you can see that in addition to having very diverse student populations in terms of numbers, the OCUL member libraries are also very geographically widespread. So all the way from, you know, in Thunder Bay to Ottawa and Kingston further east, and then Windsor sort of at the very southernmost part of Ontario, and everywhere in between. We'll move on to Scholars Portal now. So Scholars Portal is a service of OCUL. It's the service arm of OCUL, really. It was established in 2002 as a way to implement OCUL's planning and direction for libraries, and it has continued to grow since then. We provide the shared technology infrastructure and shared collections to librarians, students, staff, and faculty at OCUL universities, or OCUL member libraries and universities in Ontario. Within Scholars Portal, we have sort of two branches in terms of our types of services. We generally refer to them as our content repositories and then our member services. So within our content repositories, that's sort of that shared collections piece that I referenced earlier. So, you know, ebooks, journals, data sets. We have three sort of different data platforms that we work across, things like that. And then our member services are more geared towards supporting librarians and end users. So Ask a Librarian is one of those member services. And many of the Scholars Portal services are sort of automatically available to all OCUL schools. But some services are opt-in. So schools can choose whether or not they would like to participate, and Ask a Librarian is one of those opt-ins. At the moment, not all OCUL schools participate, but we do have quite a large number that do. So this is the piece where it gets like slightly confusing. So bear with me, but this is not critical. You don't have to remember this. It's more just sort of for some context of all the moving parts. But this diagram here on the screen shows the somewhat complicated or confusing, at least sometimes, relationship between Scholars Portal and other organizations. So we at Scholars Portal, we have Ask a Librarian as one of our services. That is a service that is run and managed by Scholars Portal. Scholars Portal, by extension, is the service of OCUL or the service arm of OCUL. And OCUL is governed by the member libraries. That piece, fairly straightforward, flows kind of seamlessly. The additional slightly confusing piece here is where U of T comes into play, which is that U of T essentially hosts Scholars Portal on OCUL's behalf. So basically that means that, like, while our direction comes from OCUL, the technology on which Scholars Portal runs is provided by U of T, and most of the Scholars Portal team are staff at the University of Toronto Libraries. So Scholars Portal and OCUL offices are physically located at Robarts at U of T. And essentially, so where Scholars Portal is sort of the service arm of OCUL and service provider for Ask a Librarian, U of T kind of functions as the service provider for Scholars Portal. So again, this isn't essential for you to know, no quiz or anything, but hopefully just helps to clarify any confusion about sort of the relationship between these different bodies and services, the way that it will most impact you and operators is that Scholars Portal staff have U of T email addresses in addition to Scholars Portal ones. So if I were to send you an email about Ask a Librarian or Guinsly or Sabina would, you would see that it comes from a utoronto.ca email address, despite the fact that we are librarians at Scholars Portal. Hopefully that makes sense, I can pause here quickly if there are already questions about this piece or anything up until now.
No question.
Okay. Okay, so I'll switch over now to talk about Ask a Librarian specifically. We'll begin with a bit of a history of virtual reference library chat services in Ontario universities. So around 2002, 2003, 3 universities, York, Guelph, and TMU, came together to launch a shared chat service using JockeyTech software. And the idea behind this was that this would be a time-saving collaboration, since one person staffing the chat service could answer questions from users across all 3 schools at the same time. In 2008, Ask On, or Ask Ontario, was launched, and this was funded by Knowledge Ontario, which was an organization of the government. And Ask On was a virtual reference chat service that served not only university libraries, but college and public libraries as well. Unfortunately, the funding was pulled from the project in 2010, 2011. So in the spring of 2011, OCUL withdrew from Ask On and began the process of creating its own virtual reference projects through Scholars Portal. And this project became Ask a Librarian. So there were 7 founding member university libraries for the Ask a Librarian service. And those were the university libraries, the participants that had been part of the Ask On service. Ask On does still exist today, but it's now a service only of OCLS, college's library service. It only serves the Ontario College. As previously mentioned, Ask a Librarian it's an opt-in service, which means that not all local libraries currently participate. So we have 16 libraries participating in the service. And most of the regular hours for Ask a Librarian are staffed by OCUL libraries in terms of like full-time staff are staffing those shifts. So that's a mix of librarians and technicians and library assistants. But many of the evening and weekend shifts are staffed by part-time operators. And they're generally either current MLIS library school students or recent graduates from a library school and information program. It's sort of a good opportunity for them to have some experience doing reference work. So I have on the slide here an example of a couple days of what a daily scheduling chart sort of looks like. So this is the current schedule. And you can see we have multiple operators for each shift to help handle volume. So we have more operators generally assigned to hours that are typically a lot busier. And then maybe fewer for times that are a bit slower. There's always at least one designated bilingual operator per shift so that users can always receive support, research support in either English or in French. We do have in the summer, there are slightly shorter hours. So the times look a little bit different, but the same sort of scheduling rules apply to that. And then Ask is generally governed by the Virtual Reference Steering Committee, which is made up of one representative from each participating library, who we generally refer to as like the local coordinator. And the steering committee is a really great way for sharing feedback and concerns, sort of going both ways, but generally for Scholars Portal, for us to get information on how to best coordinate the service and think about new directions and initiatives. So here we have another map of the OCUL libraries across the province. The pins in red show the schools that participate in Ask a Librarian, and the yellow pins are schools that don't, at least as of right now. And participating schools include a mix of libraries of those different sizes, from Algoma, which is one of our smaller schools, up to U of T, the largest one. Our heaviest users are generally from the schools with the larger sort of student populations. So U of T is a really big one, as well as Western, Ottawa, Guelph and Guelph-Humber, and then McMaster. So many of the questions will be from these schools, but not always. We also receive plenty of questions from the smaller schools as well. When I'm working on the service, I have pressed plenty of questions from students from Algoma, Lakehead, Laurentian, Queens, and actually was thinking, I was like, have I received questions from every single participating school? And I think yes, but I check that. So listed here are some of the are the participating member libraries, a little easier to see based on the logos than pins on a map. But these are the schools that are participating. Something to note is a couple of them are what we call affiliate universities. So Guelph Humber, for example, is affiliated with the University of Guelph. And then Université Saint Paul is affiliated with the University of Ottawa. So these schools, they do have their own website and specific chat button and queue. They're affiliated with these other schools, but they do have their own distinct. See a little note in the chat. Is that question? I just
No, I'm just saying that I'm at Lake.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so a few some quick stats here. These are from a number of years ago, but based on a more recent transcript review and assessment from 2023, 2024, I believe. These numbers are still largely accurate, give or take 1 or 2% in a couple of cases, particularly in terms of a small increase in facilities questions like those. But overall, most questions that we receive continue to be related to research help, e-resource support and troubleshooting, citation support, and other kinds of library help that are not necessarily answered by a library webpage or an FAQ. So the service is open for 67 hours a week, including evenings and weekends. So that's 10 to 10, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Fridays, and 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. on weekends. And that's during the academic year. So as I mentioned, we do have reduced summer hours, which is generally runs from end of April to beginning of August, with 2 sort of small intersessions in between. And our hours of operation then are Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Fridays 10 to 4. So a significant portion of the questions that we receive are submitted on weekends or during evenings, which is really great for us to know. It does show the value of the service, because it means that we're meeting a need for research support where users might not otherwise be able to access help. We had sort of an anecdotal feedback the other day from someone who spoke positively about the service because they were still able to speak to a real person with reference experience at around like 10 p.m. at night and get research help then. So that's really great to hear. Most of our users are seeking help for things like reference and research. So those more in-depth research questions versus the much smaller percentage of questions that come in regarding things like facilities. So noise complaints, can I book a study room, library accounts, and fines or renewing holds and things like that, or policies. Most of our users are undergraduate students, but we do receive questions from graduates, graduate students, postgrads, as well as profs, and sometimes even members of the public if they're sort of, living in the city of that university and they are interested in something in the collection or looking for some information, they can access the text from the library. And the majority of users are asking questions from off campus. So again, meeting that need for live research help from trained staff without having to physically be in the library or speak to someone over the phone if they're not super comfortable with that. But it is worth noting that here about 30% of users are coming from on campus, which is significant. There's still value in the chat service for on campus users. So Clavardet avec un bibliothécaire is the French version of Ask a Librarian. And Clavardet allows us to offer the service to universities with bilingual mandates. And we have a few schools with that. So University of Ottawa, and then sort of the affiliate school, Université Saint Paul, and also Laurentian. It's open for the same number of hours a week as Ask a Librarian, because every shift has at least one bilingual operator to answer French chat. So the service providing is the same. And Clavardet initially began as a pilot project, 2014, with funding from the Canada-Ontario Agreement on French Language Service. awarded to the University of Ottawa. There's a collaboration between Scholars Portal and the OCUL universities with which did include York University at the time as well. The moving parts of Ask a Librarian. So sort of what the service actually looks like in terms of accessing the service, whether as a user or working on the service as an operator. The chat button is the point of entry to the Ask Librarian service for users looking for research help. It appears on the library website, typically in the school's designated colors. So the ones on the screen here with the red and blue, those are just sort of the generic Scholars Portal service brand colors. But the button as it would appear on a university website would, the colors generally reflect the university color. So schools are welcome to adapt that as they like. Some also change sort of the text with it. So in some cases, the button doesn't necessarily have like the full icon and graphic, or it doesn't, say specifically ask chat with the librarian. It might just say like, might just be a tab that says chat with us or something along those lines. And then the user can click that and it will you. The bottom left one with the bubbles is sort of the classic chat icon that you would see in Scholars Portal communications and that you will see most often on library websites. And then the envelope button on the right is what shows when the chat is closed, so outside those hours. And users will generally be either pointed to a different sort of point of service, like an FAQ page, but it will also redirect them to email the reference desk and then back to them. Or it will, say like the service is closed right now, but each button corresponds to the chat queue for a specific school. So we can see where that question comes from and track what language it's in, and are we getting more questions from a specific school? Are we getting a higher volume of French chats from a certain school? So if you were to click the button on, say, the Queen's Library website, it would take you to that Queen's chat queue specifically. The bilingual libraries have both English and French chat button sets that will divert properly to the corresponding English and French queue, which is generally sort of what happens. Sometimes a user may not notice and they will click the English button and send a question in French, and that's fine. That can be sort of, if needed, the chat can be transferred to the bilingual operator if it doesn't go to them. But for the most part, that's users are pretty good to notice that there is a specific chat button for language, and they will follow those and directed to who best can help them. This is what the chat window looks like when a user opens it. And again, as with the sort of the bubbles and the icon, the window colors will also reflect the school specific colors. But the user can immediately begin the chat by answering a question or a message, a question. And then there's an automatic message that will pop up for the user, welcoming them to the chat. It generally prompts them for their name, their academic status, and their question. So sometimes you'll get a chat that starts with a research question and then is sort of promptly followed by like Claire, undergrad, Trent, or something like that. That's where that information is coming from. They're not required to share that information, but it's just like helpful for what sort of are they an undergrad? What level of knowledge they might have? Like, are we getting more questions from and then their chat history is preserved in the window. So if the user closes the chat and then reopens it later to come back to it, any initial messages will still be there unless they've like cleared their cache or something. They can sort of come back to the chat for further follow-up help. If it's a different operator, they may have to start from scratch depending on how long it is later, but the user's initial question. And then at the end of a reference interaction, there is a link to a satisfaction survey that they can fill out at the end. They can also request like an emailed transcript of the chat conversation through that little envelope button in the bottom right corner. If they want to, again, back to it, they can send a file or receive a file if they need to send like a screenshot or something to sort of demonstrate what they're looking at if they're troubleshooting. So some of the libraries also have a texting option, text the library. So you can see here there's a designated phone number for the user to use. On their end, it looks basically the same as just the typical text thread. And on the operator side, it comes through the platform in the same way that basic non-text chats do, but it will show like TXT in the chat name at the top. And there is a character limit generally, but it's otherwise the same as responding to chats. So, I mean, the only thing to kind of keep in mind is if you're sending a link, ideally, if you can send like a shortened version, just so that it doesn't sort of break it up as it sends to the user. So Guinsly will talk more about this bit in depth in a little bit, and you'll see a demo of the platform. But this is a quick look at what the chat service looks like from the operator's perspective in Library Help, so that platform that we use. At the top, you can see your name and status, and you can change your status right now. Sort of this one says like Catherine FP is training and is available. The little drop down will show you options for, if you have to like pop out for a second, for example, if you're working on the service, but you're also at the reference desk in real time and you have someone come to the desk, you could put that you're busy or out for a minute or so, and then any chats that come in will get directed to someone else, so no one's left waiting. If you have like 6 chats on the go and you can't take any more, your status will switch to busy, so that again you're not too overwhelmed. So you can just sort of keep an eye on that status as you need to, so you can adjust it. To the left side, you can see the guests and contacts list where new and active chats will come in or will appear. Contacts list shows you the other operators who are currently online and staffing the chat at the same time as you. So if you needed to check in with someone, if you wanted to see like, oh, is there someone from McMaster here who I could check in with about X, or if your shift is coming to a close and you might need to transfer someone, you want to see if someone from that specific school is available, you can check that contact side. And then the chats appear in the box above that, which is outlined in yellow. So yes, I don't know that there. At the bottom is the conference room chat, sort of as we call it, which is a separate chat space, separate from the chats with users, and that's where you can message the other operators who are online. So you can use this to check in or out. Most people will just say like, you're like, hi, signing in for Brock 4 to 5 p.m., that kind of thing, and same when they're signing out, just to keep track. If you have a question that you're wanting to sort of check in, get a second opinion on with another operator, you can do that there. If any issues come up, you guys can chat about it. And that's nice way to check in with each other and pass information along. And then the main space in the middle is the chat box space with users. So this screenshot only shows one chat, so it sort of takes up that whole space. But if you had multiple chats on the go at once, they would pop up side by side or sort of stacked so that you can see all of them at once. The panes are adjustable. If you want to sort of hide the bottom chat, you're not using it right now and want more space for user chats, you can do that. But it's flexible, and move those things around. But that is how they would appear. And all the information that you should need about, information about schools, any quick links to, say, library websites, proxy passwords to be able to check on things like e-resources to do some troubleshooting there. All of that is really integrated into this web client platform. And again, Guinsly will sort of walk. This is what you will see when you sign on. This is the Ask a Librarian area on the shared Scholars Portal Wiki, which is called Spot Docs. Access is limited to operators and coordinators from the participating schools. You should receive some login credentials from Guinsly to be able to access this space during your onboarding process and as you're working as an operator. It has a lot of the same information as in Library Help, so you don't need to access it through here, but you can if you prefer. So it has things like those library profiles for quick links to the website, for proxy path, like that. But it also has some training resources and documentation, the current schedule, past schedule. So if you wanted to check in on anything there, on any of the resources, you can have a look at that, and that's where you'll find that. Sometimes I find it's useful to have open and just sort of on hand during shifts, but it's totally up to you whether and how you use this page, or whether you prefer to use that information. Okay, nearing the end, but the virtual reference part-time operator program. So as I mentioned, we do have a number of part-time virtual reference operators. And these are generally primarily either current library school students or recent graduates. And they are the ones who typically will be staffing the service in the evenings on weekdays and on the weekend shifts. And it's a really good opportunity for students and new librarians to gain some practice in doing virtual reference work. It did used to be called a mentorship program, and before that an internship program. So if you're looking through, say, like old documentation on that Spot Docs page, that wiki page, you may see reference to these positions as like mentee or intern, but that's what it's referring to. So we typically hire for these positions usually in the summer leading into the fall. So if you know anyone who is interested or anything like that, we typically post these job postings on the OCUL website. We advertise them through the Scholars Portal social media accounts, and often on the University of Toronto, the Faculty of Information high school job site page as well. So those are just a couple of places you can find those positions. Happen to know anyone who is interested, or that is a little bit about that program. And that is all I have for this morning. Are there any questions?
No, I don't have any.
Okay, great. So I will, sorry. I will start the next presentation. Share my screen. Okay, great. This presentation is about our chat service provider platform or chat platform that the operator use. What we'll learn today is about our chat service provider, the user experience, chat dispatch, how does the chat is being dispatched to operator, and we'll view a bit of the onboarding email, and we'll do a live demo, a hands-on. And perfect. So I will continue. Next, our chat service provider. What tools do I use as an operator? As an operator, you'll use the web client, which is a service from Library Help, our chat service provider. This software is widely used over the world, and then it has a friendly user interface. You don't need to install any software, so you'll access it through your browser. And I will say that prior to that, we started using Library Help in 2016, but prior to 2016, we had another uh, chat service provider, but that one was more related with business. It wasn't academic or school based. It was more business based chat platform. All the feature, I mean. The user experience. My colleague Gabby mentioned this already, but let's go over maybe a bit more thoroughly. our user access the chat or launch the chat um, windows through the library website. In example, this is Algoma's library website, and then they have the button here on the bottom right. They can click, and then it will launch the chat window for the student. Another example is from let's say this one is from McMaster. They have what they call a chat tab. It's similar as a button, meaning that when the user click at the bottom right here, where it says Ask a Librarian, it will launch the chat window as well. Next is an example of how the chat windows look for the student. This is an example from TMU. As you can see here, it will have it has some icons. We'll see those icons a bit later, but it's accessible through by clicking on the button. Uh, okay, let's review the chat windows. What our patrons see. What are the features available on this interface? First, they have a title, Welcome to the Library. Some university might change it. They'll also have the exit survey, tell us how we did. They have icons. They can turn the audio or the audio notification, receiving a beep, a sound notification when the operator send a message. They can also activate or disable the visual notification, meaning that if they are on another uh, the browser tab, they will be able to see on the screen the message sent by the operator. And as well, you don't it's not you don't really see it currently, but after the first message, the patron will be able to send files or a screenshot to the operator. And then as well, they can send the chat transcript to a given email, their email, or forward it to the library if they want to follow up on a subject. This is an example of the type of two chat windows that our patron can see. First is the first generation. On the left is the first generation of chatbot or chat box, sorry, or chat window. And then on the second one is the second generation of chat windows. The difference is the icons has been redesigned on the second generation. And it has more icon. It's as well school can also decide to add other functionality on the second generation, meaning what they call an entry form, which we'll see here. Here, entry form are a set of questions or pre-chat question before launching the chat, before uh, uh, starting the conversation with an operator. The patron will fill, as an example, their name, their email, and their question, so that the operator on the other end will have that information as the first message. Okay, so this is an example. What our entry form that the message starts with what our entry form that uh, previously on the question, your question here. Next is the chat dispatch. It's the chat system use two type of models. for the workflow or for dispatching chats. Let's see. How does this system work? The what we call the flat model, uh, uh, meaning that a student from any school, I mean, the student will access their library website. They will launch the chat window, and then their question is will be able to be seen by every operator online. Meaning operator from any institution can answer that question. Next is what we call home thing first, meaning let's say that home thing first will be an example will be Carlton. Carlton will a student from Carlton will access the website, will launch the chat, will send a message, but only Carlton operator will see that message. So that this is the two type of model or workflow, chat workflow that we have. Um, this is an example of how it works for the home thing first. Let's say Carlton patron submit a question, and on the left, if the Carlton operator is currently online and is available, then the Carlton operator will see that message. If the Carlton operator is not on the shift, then every other operator will be able to see because every operator are assigned to a queue called portal queue, which is every operator has that queue. If the operator status is set to busy or away, then it will also uh, flow or redirect to the Scholar portal queue. And at the final, as an exception, if the Carlton operator is online, but for some reason they didn't see the incoming message, maybe they were helping a student and they were distracted, I could say. Um, we have what we call uh, a time trigger rollover, meaning that after a certain number of seconds, the chat that only Carlton operator was seeing will be redirected to Scholars portal, meaning every other operator will suddenly see this incoming chat. Um, Okay, summary of routing models. What does it mean? It's for the home thing first school. For the operator, you'll not see many questions from home thing first school. Let's say Toronto, Carleton, Brock, Laurentian, Ontario Tech, Queens, and Western. I believe Lakehead as well. Um, and Meaning that if those operators are online, you will not see those incoming chats. Let's say I'm from Toronto, uh, and there's chat coming from Carlton. I will not necessarily see it if a Carlton operator is currently online. And then this is a visualization of how those here on the left, no, not the left, the outer circle, you can see the school name. Let's say Toronto. I'll give you just one example to go fast. As you can see, this diagram represents the number of chat that is coming from a school and then has been picked up. When the arc is going back to the same, is meaning that Toronto operator tends to take all the incoming Toronto chats, um, uh, mainly because it's a home thing first. The Toronto operator have the ability or the privilege, I could say, the opportunity to see their incoming chat first. And then if you see arc that goes to outside, is meaning the other school or I mean an operator from another school has picked up that chat. I'll go quickly on other on the onboarding email. Uh, um, on for the currently, I know Michael, you don't have it, but when I receive a request from our local from one of our local coordinator, um, I'll send this onboarding email to the new operator. This email will contain will include the link to our spot doc for documentation, blog post, and schedule. I could say as well. You can see the schedule there. This onboarding email will contain as well your um, credential, either for the library help and for the uh, spot doc as well. And one of the important things is it will also contain at the bottom here. At the bottom, you'll see a list of queue, a list of service that you're assigned to. Meaning when you'll log into when you'll start staffing the chat service, you'll have to uh, to enable or enable those queue. Those are the queue that the operator will be assigned to. But each operator, each school is different. This is an example of it might be mine, uh, but every school so it might be different. And if you're asking how many operators is on the service, we have over 400 operator, and about 15% of them are bilingual. And as Gabby mentioned, we'll always have one bilingual operator on every shift. We'll start this section with the live demo. Before going to the live demo, I want to mention that to access the library, to accept the web client, to accept library help, to access library help, you'll need to, this is the URL. You can we recommend that you bookmark it on your browser. Otherwise, if you, um, I don't think it's mostly the case anymore, but before, when I used to type library help on Google, meaning searching for the library help to start staffing. Um, it just didn't have uh, it just didn't have the CA the for the Canadian server, meaning that it's the same interface, but I couldn't log in to this interface. And I wanted to mention that yes, we recommend that you bookmark this URL, and as well, we recommend that you uh, do not click on "Forgot your library help password." We recommend that you send an email to your local coordinator, or you send an email to us so that we can send you the your credential again. It is why is just because that your email is not associated with your account, meaning that even if you click on forgot your library help password, and then it will not send it to your email because there's no email associated with your account. So the login interface, there's two uh, there's two ways to sign in, but only one work for us. The one on the left is sign in by filling this form. Sign in via your institution it uses another type of use another type of authentication that we are not that school are not we don't uh, apply this type of authentication for our operator. And currently, it's only one school in Canada that has that, but it's not part of our service. So, most important, it's filling the form instead. Um, and and if you have clicked by mistake on the single sign-on, you can click back, or you have the option to click on sign in with library help credential. That will lead you back to the form that you have here. I will stop and then I will start doing some uh, hands-on or live demo. If you have any questions, just let me know. Um, this is the interface let me know if you can see it. Can everybody see it? Yep, perfect. For the login, first you will sign in. I already fit in my credential. The first windows that will be open is what they call the queue sections queue sections window. Um, and as I mentioned, every operator is different. Uh, for this uh, for this presentation, I will click on no on each of them except practice webinar. I'll keep it because we'll just do a practice. Scholars portal, no. Review chat, no. And you have the uh, button to enable all or disable all. In that case, I just want to enable practice webinar. Let's move this Zoom window. Um, by default, or I'm not sure if it's by default, but mine has been set to 2 hours and 10 minutes. I believe I set it myself. Uh, but you can auto decide when you want to auto log out, meaning after a certain hour or certain amount of minute, you'll be auto log out. You'll you'll receive a notification about that first, but then you'll be automatically logged out. Set me as available. You have different options, but we'll view those a bit later. We'll let the default settings like that and click on connect now. So at the first you sign in, you select which queue you'll be staffing. Once you do it once, the system will automatically remember each time. So each time you sign in, it will be the same section that you did the first time. Next is this is the interface. Currently, just because there's other operators on the service and the service is currently um, open. I will let everybody knows that I guess it is in training. Yes, and then on the conference room, I'll explain a bit later each of those components. Um, uh, uh, one, uh, Uh, okay, I just sent a message to everyone so that every other operators know that I'm in training, and then I will not. Oops, I made a mistake. I will not pick up chat. Uh, So let's view this interface. We'll start on the right. The right is what we call the uh, message status field or text. Here it said guest is in training. So every operator, like let's say Sabina, it said training. Every other operator will know that um, uh, I'm not supposed to staff. I'm just here in training. Um, uh, the section, my availability, my availability status, I could say, is available. I can change to busy, away. Busy means that I'm currently uh, answering a chat, but I will not see new incoming chat. Away mean that I cannot. It will end the current chat and I will not see all the chat. Free for chat is a synonym for available, and extended away, it's the same away, but let's say you've been away for 1 hour, but it's rare that it goes to extended away. And log out to log out. On the bottom right, you'll see the conference room message box so that you can send a message like I did before. On the bottom, it includes all the past message. It's record up to 100 message. On the left, you'll see the guest and contact, all the operators currently online, Halle, Janet, Christina, Laura, Marta, and Sabina. And you'll see as well the queues. Uh, but the service is open, meaning automatically, mostly uh, the most important, the main queues are open. And staffing assignment. Uh, Staffing assignment, if we click on it, uh, when we first sign in, you remember that we had our queue selection, selection uh, uh, windows that we selected that we will only uh, staff the practice webinar, but we could have said yes to practice webinar.txt, which is our texting services. Um, um, and on the left here, it's it's the navigation menu. You'll have chat history, can message, profile, preferences, and documentation. We'll view those a bit later. Next, how does the chat, uh, this is the main area, the gray area. How does this chat interface work? First, I'll ask my colleague Sabina. Yes, thanks. First, as you can see here, this is a chat and then incoming chat, and there's a audio notification as well, the beep or I don't know what is the name of that sound. And then there's also a vi visual notification, um, but it's really subtle, I could say. Meaning if someone else has picked up that chat, that Windows, this gray will be slightly darker in the tone. And so I will answer this to pick up a chat or to stop the sound. It's either we click on the X, meaning that we'll close the chat, but the chat is still available to pick up. Or we click here on the message. As soon as we click, the sound will stop. But I haven't picked up the chat. I haven't answered that chat yet. I'll just say uh, Okay. Hi, my name is Guinsly. I'm a real person, but there's an automatic message when you first come in. Um, and uh, I'll receive a message, hi, from the patron or from as you can see, you see a visual notification that the guest was typing, and then audio notification as well that I receive a message from this guest. How does this chat windows work? Let's go on from the left to the right, and then on the bottom left, top left, you'll see uh, the Q avatar. Here is practice, but if it was, let's say, Brock, you'll see the Brock image or Laurentian. Uh, you'll see the name of this queue. It's practice webinar. The guest ID V85. Each guest has a different ID. On the left here, you'll have a possibility to highlight this chat. It's just that if you have many chat windows and then you want to concentrate or um, uh, uh, keep attention to one chat, let's say, you can highlight it. You can reduce this chat by you can minimize this chat windows, so it will go on your contact list or your current guest here. Next is the X will close it, but not really. Will close the chat windows, but not close the chat conversation. Um, Meaning that if it was an incoming chat, and if you didn't answer it and you close it, it will just close the chat windows. But other operators still have the opportunity to answer this chat. On the I forgot this metadata section, you'll have where this guest has launched this chat windows. Usually, mainly is the library is their library website or one page, one of the page of the library website. Um, you'll have the guest IP, but you'll have the today's chat with guest, so that it will open a new windows and you can see the full transcript of the chat. Next is on the bottom, you'll have can message. Uh, can message is a set of pre-scripted message that makes it faster to send a message instead of typing all the message. We have different category of message: introduction, searching, miscellaneous, closing, abusive or difficult users, and if you're a bilingual operator, you'll have the same sets of can message, but also in French. I'll just give one example of, let's say, searching. What are the type of can message that we have in this category? Let's say your patience is appreciated. I'm still looking into your question, and I'll be with you shortly. This is an example uh, for a can message. I will cancel. Uh, Next is a list of emoji. Um, if you want to, feel free to use this uh, one of those emojis while in your conversation. Um, you can as well transfer this chat. I'm not sure why this is deactivated, but you can transfer this chat. Maybe there's no other uh, person who's there's if we over to the circle, you'll see who is currently staffing a given queue. Meaning here, uh, me, Guinsly, Laura, Marta, and Sabina, and we're able to see this incoming chat. Um, uh, you have the option to insert attach a file, send a file. You have what they call the library sharing tool. It will open on Windows. We did the presentation last week, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago about how to use this feature. Um, how to send screenshot, how to annotate screenshot, how to create a screencast, how to send gift. Uh, Screencast is a gift of the uh, sorry, slideshow. It's a GIF version of the screen recording. The next option is copy this chat transcript. It will copy everything here. Then next is the email this transcript. Um, the one before the last, the tag chat, we don't use it we don't recommend to use it. We have another way to inform us or to report an issue. And then next the last one is to block this user. It will prompt you a message. This will block the guest for 24 hours. Are you sure? In this example, I'll say no. Okay. I will stop for 10 seconds to see if there's any question and drink a bit of water. Okay, great. Perfect. Um, uh, if we are not active, I could say, uh, this chat has been disconnected. Okay, maybe that's why we couldn't transfer it. I see that the guest has sent me a message. Whenever I see this notification, guess what time is being it's like if it's a new message, meaning a new incoming chat. But it is the same. I know it's the same user, but it's a new incoming chat that every other operator that is assigned to the practice queue that we see earlier, Laura, Marta, Sabina, are able to see. I'll just say, okay, I'll just claim this chat uh, just to, and I forgot what I want to show as well is how to send a screenshot. I will take a random screenshot. Is there any image? Um, I don't know if you see my screen or let me stop sharing. Um, I need to go back and start sharing. Um, no, no, not that one. Sorry. Uh, yes, that's the one. Okay. Okay. So let's say the Leket University web page, and I want to say I just want, yeah, just the logo. Let's say I want to send a screenshot, or let's say a proper screenshot. Um, First, I will copy this screenshot and I will send it. And then it will ask me, do I just want to send this message, this image, or do I need to edit it? In that case, usually I just send the image, but in that case, I will edit to show you how to use this tool. And I just want, by editing, I will not go over all because we see, oops, it's really small as an image. I just want to use the arrow and point to uh, the chat service. I guess the student already know the chat service. Let's say library hours, and then send to guest. On the top left here, it will send the message to the guest. I will close this library sharing tool window, and as you can see, uh, the image has been sent to the patron, and this image will stay there, will stay on the server for 1 week. After it will be automatically deleted. Great. So the user, the patron is able to see the image. That's great. Let me go back to see. Uh, we review the icons, screen sharing tool, email transcript, block the user. Let me see if I. Oh yes, I forgot to mention the after the practice avatar, after the school avatar, if you click on practice Q name, you'll see the library profile, which contain information as, let's say, the proxy password word, let's say the useful resourceful link, let's say the writing center, or and the IT desk email, and other information, the library contact, the phone number and email of the library. Sorry. And that's and you can as well expand it here to open it in a new page. Okay, we'll see. Um, uh, to end the chat, we will only we will close the chat window, and uh, um, I mean, um uh, in that conversation, I'll have to to mention to to the patron, is there anything else I can help you with? Do after finishing the reference interview uh, process or question, do send a message. Is there anything else I can help you with? And then send a message. Thank you for using the chat. Remember to come back if you have more questions. But in the context of this training, let's say that I did all of that, and I just wanted to close this chat window. Uh, I can close it here, and then I will have to type or remove this contact. Sometimes the contact stays there, so you'll have to remove it manually. So uh, let's go over uh, the menu, or um, there's another option I forgot to mention. Let's see. Uh, uh, let's go over the menu. You'll have chat history. Uh, Chat history will contain all the chat from 2016 and now, and you can search. There's a search interface. You can search by a word. Let's say I'm looking for anyone that mentioned the word paper for the last week, and it will contains the word paper. All those chats will contain at least the word paper. You can select the date of range. This one is a week, but you can select a bit more if you want. You can select the date or all dates, or just for a given date today, and there's only one. Uh, okay, this is how we search. There's other field that you can search, and operator, username, and so on. But for the context of operator, usually this is a useful example if you're looking for, let's say, how a student was asking for uh, uh, up to date the health science database, and then you want to see um, is there any up to date related question that has been asked recently on the chat service. Uh, I will next is can messages. Can messages, as you can see on the left, this is what they call system can message. Meaning every operator has those can message. We have seen it in the chat windows interface when while we are kind of chatting with the patron. Um, we have also what we call personal can message. Those are can messages that we created ourselves. So every operator has uh, has the opportunity to create their own chat message. If you see that there's one that you use often, let's say uh, I often say, how do you want me to proceed? Instruction or send links? Because some patron want us to only send the link, and some patron wants instruction when they ask a question. So I still prefer to confirm with them if you're looking for a given paper or given topic, if they want instruction or just the link. And then if they want the instruction, uh, 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 or another example, I can say, uh, by instruction, would you want me to provide a step-by-step or create a screencast, or would you like to share your screen? So those are example of personal can message that you can create. Profile. I'll go every queue. Every school has what we call a library profile. One you might use a lot, or the I couldn't say the most important one, but one that you'll use often is the Scholars Portal one. Scholars Portal, like I mentioned before, every operator has this queue, is staffing this queue. Uh, if you want to report an issue, you'll have the link of the report issue form, and you'll have the service date. You'll also have the schedule. Today is Friday, and if you want to verify that at 10:31, uh, we're supposed to have five operators, uh, uh, one from Carleton, Guelph, Ontario Tech, Brock, and St. Paul. And if we go back to the chat, we shall see one from Carleton, Ontario Tech, Brock, St. Paul, uh, Guelph, but maybe just replacing someone. Maybe I missed it on the yeah, Guelph was there. Yes, perfect. So we have all our five operator. If you Next is so as I mentioned, the report issue form is located here. And the preference, you can change your preference if the new chat sound, you can modify it. Currently it's agogo, you can, I don't know, beep number 3. Well, what yes, you can set the volume as well. Visual notification, show visual notification, yes or no. Um, so that's it's when if you're, let's say, on this screen or on this another tab, it will show the incoming chat uh with a visual notification or message sent by the patron. Um, and you have different set of settings that you can change, configure. The chat windows, chat workspace setting automatically expand your chat until I have 4. So after actually starting at 5, it will automatically uh, reduce or collapse, minimize the chat window. Automatically set my status to busy after this many open chat, meaning if I have 6 chat windows, it will set my status over here. It will set me automatically as busy. And maybe 1 or 2 more example. You can change your avatar. Here you can upload you can choose wisely to upload an avatar, and that's about. You can change as well the taller typing area, meaning that the chat windows will be taller. We don't have an example here, but let's see the chat this 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 section where it said tap your message here is taller than before. Um, and that's all. Let me see if
Guinsly, there's a question in the chat about
oh,
how
sorry.
to claim
Thanks.
a chat. Did you want to go over that again? I can submit, actually, I'll submit 2 chats and then you can claim one and I'll claim one to show like what it looks like when somebody else claims a chat. How does
Okay,
that
great.
sound? Okay,
Yes.
all right. We'll do that.
Okay. This I'll let someone else claim the chat, I guess. You already see how exactly. So as you can see, it's subtle, but this the background color has been changed to be slightly darker. Um, uh, and it has a visual notification that answered by Sabina. And if I try to send a message, uh, it will show me a guest is unavailable. Actually, guest is available, but message has not been received by the guest because someone else has claimed, Sabina has claimed this chat.
Okay.
And this is an example. As you can see, the background color is totally different. And as I'll just tap hi. And yeah, so
So as soon
so
as you enter that first message, the chat is claimed.
Okay.
As
yeah,
So
soon
you
as
exactly.
you send that
so
first message, yeah.
so you just select it at the left and then enter in a message.
Uh,
Like you click on
uh,
it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you click on it on the
Okay.
message box
Yeah.
area,
Yeah.
and then when you send your first message, which is this one,
And you've
or any
claimed it.
message, you claim the chat.
Okay.
If somebody else send a message, it will not work. Next is how to transfer a chat. we'll end with this. Um, how to transfer a chat. Let's say this chat, the guest number 72Y5, that's our chat, so we cannot send it to us, I could say. But let's say I'm taking, no, but Sabina has already taken out. Let's say, let's send this 72 Wi-Fi back to us. Let's try to do that. We transfer it using
Do you
here.
do you do you want to send it to me and then I can send it back to you? We can do a
Okay,
double
great.
transfer. Okay.
Okay, great. We'll do that, and I will as well. There's two ways to change to transfer, either on this chat interface or the chat history. As we're currently on the chat interface, chat window interface, we'll go here and click on the those uh, two-way arrows, I could say, two arrows. You can transfer this chat either to a queue or to a user. In this case, I'll send to a user. I'll type the name. If I don't type the name, I see all the operator currently online. By user, they mean operator. Um, and I'll send it to Sabina. As you can see, there's a visual notification transferring to Sabina. Please wait to cancel. Uh, okay, great. That message has been sent by Sabina. And then if Sabina send me this message again, I mean, not send, but transfer this message again. Okay,
And you
oops.
got it back. Okay.
Yeah, okay. And then you see guest wait time 5 seconds. I haven't answered this chat. I haven't claimed that chat. I need to send a first message. Uh, after I send this first message, this proves that I am the one who claimed that chat, and no other operator can technically answer. Uh, and we haven't seen the texting service, but we did a presentation last week about that, so I will not review it again. So I
If I
was
could just ask a quick question. So just for
hi Robin,
clarity,
sorry.
hi,
Yes.
sorry about that. I'm sorry I was late. There's just
Uh,
other things going on.
it's okay, it's okay.
So when we click the X, that closes the chat down and frees, that channel as it were. But if we hit the X and we still see in current guests that chat, we have to go in there and make sure that is clear. If they're in the current guest queue, then that chat is not closed. Is that correct?
Okay, let's say we have two chat here. One that is not us. I
Right.
mean, has been claimed from Sabina. So if I close this first one, it
Yeah.
will close. If I close the one that we're currently in, it will still say guest. We'll
Okay.
have to clear type. We can still we can still remove this get, but we'll have to also as well close these chat windows.
Okay. So if they're in the current queue, then it's still open essentially.
So it means that the user you've closed the chat on your end, but the user still has the window open on their end
Okay.
with the chat in it. If they navigate away, then it will disappear, or you can manually clear it. But once you've closed that chat on your end, it doesn't count towards like the number of chats at which you automatically become unavailable. It's just kind of telling you that the user still has the window open. So
Okay.
it depends how many, like whether you want to clear it or not is kind of your preference for how like
Right.
clean you like to keep your
Sure.
sideboard.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, great. Perfect. I will stop sharing and maybe uh, let's see. those. First, is there any other question regarding this presentation? The overview of the chat platform? Mm, Uh, uh,
I don't
we
know.
might see it later, but the question I forgot to see, it's how to use the proxy logging, how to log into another library in order to access e-resource. So that part maybe in another presentation later today. I'll review it. I heard someone talk, maybe Michael or Robin.
You said I didn't have anything.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay, great. Perfect. See my um, let's take about let's take about 10-minute break. We'll come back at 53. So that let's say 54. So that we can do the next two presentation. Yeah. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I'll stop the screen sharing. So for our next presentation, it's about online communication. And next one is policies and FAQ. So I will hand it over to.
I can't hear you, Guinsly, if you're talking.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
I can
My
hear
Still
you.
mic.
can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Uh, Robin can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, and Sabina as well.
Yeah, I can
Uh,
hear it. It might be, well, maybe I'll put it in the
Talk again.
Hello. Yes, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I can hear.
Okay, great. Perfect. I was saying that there's two upcoming presentation, online communication and policies and FAQ. I will start with, I'll hand it over to Sabina for online communication.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Guinsly. I'm just getting myself organized here. So what this presentation is online communication. We're mostly going to be talking about how you change your communication from kind of an in-person reference interaction, how to change it for the online and especially a chat reference interaction, because it is quite different from an in-person interaction. So these are the elements of personal communication. It's not just the words that you use, which is a sort of verbal element. There's also a vocal element when you're in person. So that's things like the pitch and the tone of your voice, how fast you're talking, the rhythm of your words. And there's also the visual element, which is body language, gestures, and expressions. And research has shown that especially when you're having a more emotional communication, that 93% of the information that the person you're talking to is getting is actually coming from those vocal and visual aspects rather than just the words itself. Now, if it's not a heightened emotional situation, then that's a little bit of a different percentages, but it is the words used in an in-person interaction are a lot less important than you would think in terms of what information the other person you're talking to is getting from you. So what does that mean for chat? In face-to-face communication or even video communication, we have all these things, the verbal, the vocal, and the visual. You might think that in that kind of chat-based communication that you just have the words. That's not true. I think the words do have occupy a greater part of the communication space in chat, but there are other ways to get across those kind of emotional things that you would get across. So instead of having like an actual tone of voice the way you have when you're talking to somebody, in chat you have what they call a typographic tone of voice. So that's how things like the punctuation you use, capitalization, things like the length of your messages can affect the way that the speed, rhythm, and tone is perceived. The same way that speed, rhythm, and tone can be different when you're when you're speaking. And while we don't have body language or gestures or facial expressions, you can use emojis, smileys, and those kinds of like icons as a kind of gesture or expression in chat. So it's not just the words. If you think of just the word like yep, which is like a basic word way of saying yes, there's a very big difference between sending somebody like yep, all small letters, the period at the end, or saying like yep, capital letters, exclamation point, smiley. So just keep that in mind that those elements of the emojis and smileys and that sort of typographic tone of voice element does play a big role in how the words that you're using are coming across to the person you're talking to. This is kind of like background to set the stage for our online communications. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go through the different phases of the reference interaction and talk about kind of some of the issues and best practices for handling them over chat. So the first one is approachability. That's how the user knows that they can come and they're being welcomed to ask their question. So if you think about a traditional reference desk situation, They come in, they see you sitting there, they can tell that you're not helping somebody else, and they can come and talk to you. In chat, we don't have those visual or physical cues. They're just typing into a box. What we try to do as a best practice to alleviate that is to try to pick up the chat within 30 seconds. So as you saw earlier during Guinsly's demo, there's that little timer that is kind of counting that shows you how long the patron has been waiting. We try to pick it up within 30 seconds so that the user knows that somebody is there and somebody is waiting for them, and they're not kind of like typing into the void, sending messages, and they don't know where they're going or if anyone's ever going to see them. So we just try to make it known we're here, we pick up the chat. And when we pick up the chat, we greet the patron and welcome them. Having that welcoming tone is really helpful when you can't, make eye contact and smile the way you might if somebody was physically approaching a reference desk. Some other issues with the online sort of interaction, it's harder to build rapport than it is when you're talking with somebody one-on-one, and conveying tone can also be quite difficult. So what we suggest is that you introduce yourself at the start of the interaction, especially if the patron has given a name. On the patron side, all they see is librarian or the library when you type. They don't see your username. So it really personalizes it if you can give them your name, say, hi. Guinsly's canned messages that he demonstrated say, hi, my name is Guinsly. You can create a custom canned message that uses your name and whatever greeting you feel most comfortable using over chat. If you don't feel comfortable giving out your real name, you can pick like a sort of a pen name type thing. Sometimes if you have like the name that you give at Starbucks, a kind of like Starbucks name is what I call it. As a person who Starbucks people can never spell my name right. So you don't have to necessarily give your real name as long as you give them a name, something to call you. And then if they've given their name, they are asked to give their name. Not everybody does, but if they give their name, it's kind of nice to integrate it into the messages, like, hi, so-and-so, like, tell me more about your question. And then the other thing is mirroring the user's level of formality. That really helps in that rapport building and also in kind of conveying tone. If you seem a lot more formal than them, it's going to feel like they have a harder time relating to you, and that rapport is harder to build. And it can also make some of your words sound a little bit more kind of sharp or colder than you intend them to be. Okay, next phase of the interaction is interest. This is when you're kind of going through the phases of sort of discussing what their information need is. So the biggest one here is that the patron can't see what you're doing to help. And the other thing is that they might be a little bit stressed out. It can be stressful to ask a question, to admit that you don't know something, and also to not really know who you're talking to on the other side of the screen. The way that if you were in person, you would be able to see the person helping and to kind of know who you're talking to. So best practices, first of all, is to be positive, casual, and expressive. So being positive is really important. As I mentioned earlier, being too formal can come across as being cold and distant. So we say use contractions. Don't worry about using full sentences. Don't worry about having like perfect grammar or anything like that. That's like the #1 way to make them think that you're a chatbot, is having like perfect full sentences with great grammar. Don't worry about using too many exclamation points. And also, it's nice to thank them whenever they give you any kind of piece of information. Like you say, like, tell me more about your question, and then they do. Say, like, thanks for telling me that kind of thing. In terms of the patron can't see what you're doing to help, if they ask a question and it takes you a long time to respond to them, you know what you're doing. And in an in-person situation, they would be able to see you, turn to your computer and type. But in a chat situation, they have no idea. Like, if you're not answering them, they don't know if you're helping them, if you're helping somebody else, if you've like wandered off to get a cup of coffee. They don't know. So we suggest to minimize response time. Is what we called word contact, is the time between the last message that the user sent and the next message that you sent. So we try to maintain that contact and minimize the time between those messages. If you are going to have to go away for a longer amount of time, communicate that to them. Make sure that they know why you're going away. So if they've given you something and you know that you have to go away and search for it, you should let them know, I'm going to go and search for that. It will take me a few minutes. We also recommend that if it's taking you a long time to look for whatever they've asked you to look for, to check in every like 5 minutes or so to make sure they still know that you're there and you're looking for it and you haven't like abandoned them to their leave their information need. The next one is acknowledging the user's experiences and feelings. We frequently get people who are a little frustrated. Maybe they're having a problem accessing an e-resource. So it's important to look for opportunities to be kind. So commiserate with them if they're having trouble, acknowledge if they're feeling frustrated, and then if they're like I said, look for opportunities to be kind. There's also positive opportunities to be kind. You know, if somebody is mentioning that it's their last paper before they're finishing, you can always offer them a little congratulations. We'll often finish off a chat with like a good luck with your paper. Or if they have an interesting topic, like don't be afraid to let them know, oh, that topic sounds really interesting. It all helps kind of make the user feel like they're being heard and understood by you, and kind of build the relationship that they have with the library as a whole. Listening and inquiring. This is the reference interview portion of the interaction. So some issues, first of all, the questions are often confusing or ambiguous. Users are not always good at understanding what their key information need is or articulating that. And they often think that they've been clear when they aren't, and they often think they're asking the right questions when they haven't actually figured out what the right questions are yet. And it's harder to disambiguate a lot of that stuff over chat than it is in person. There's also the time pressure. Sometimes people have chosen to use chat as their way of getting help because they want an instant answer. They want that answer right away. So best practice is to conduct a thorough reference interview, you know, asking first the open-ended questions, and then as you get more of a sense of what they want, more closed-ended questions to figure out what they're actually looking for, what their actual information need is. Sometimes you will get some pushback from people who think that they've been very clear about what their information need is and don't understand why you're asking them questions. I think it's good to try to do it in a more conversational way than something that feels more like an interrogation. If you get the sense that they're very impatient and you think you know what they want, you can always just like paraphrase what you think they've asked for and ask for confirmation. The last thing that you want to do is misunderstand what they want and waste everyone's time by going down the wrong path, getting information that's not actually the information that they needed. Next, set realistic expectations and warn of possible delays, especially if you get the sense that this is a user who wants an answer like right now, and you look at their question and you know it's going to take them time to get that answer. It's good to say that, to say, oh, well, I don't know if I can get you this right now, but we can get started, or, you know, this might take a little bit longer. Let's see what we can do. Or even sometimes if it's a more complex question, like, oh, you might need to meet one-on-one, have a consultation with a reference librarian, but maybe we can see if we can get you started on this today, those kinds of things. And then ask for feedback, like as you're going along through this interaction, you should be checking in with the patron, like, how's this? Is this the kind of thing you were looking for? Does this sound right to you? Are we on the right track? Or even, you know, am I going too fast for you? Am I going too slow for you? Those kinds of questions. Asking for feedback as you're going along to make sure that you are still on the same page with them about what they want and if you're able to provide what they want. Searching is next. And here, one of the big issues, and this is true in-person interactions as well, is striking the right balance between answering the questions and teaching. So we are a service for academic libraries. It is our goal as a service and as libraries in general to kind of help the users, especially students, to become better researchers and to be able to be better at using the library themselves as they go along. So you don't want to always just give them the answers because then they don't learn anything about how to use the library and how to do this research. On the other hand, there is also this time pressure that can come in play, especially if you know, a common example is somebody can't find an article and they just want the article. You can take them through all the steps of like, okay, well, here's how we search. And if you can't find it just by the title of the article, try looking for the title of the journal and then going through and finding the issue. And you can do all that, but sometimes people are just like, I just want a link. I just really need this article right now. So the best practice is to do some instruction, provide instructions that the patrons can follow along with. When you're doing that, we do recommend, instead of just giving them like all the instructions in one go, to kind of break it down into steps and check in with them after each step to make sure that they're following along with you. The last thing you want is to be trying to teach somebody, I don't know, how to search the Globe and Mail archive, and you're at the point where you're like putting in the keyword to search the archive, and they're still like in Omni looking at the Globe and Mail record trying to figure out which link to click. So you want to make sure that they've followed you along to each step as you go. And there are some tools that help with that within Library Help. Guinsly did a session last week about the sharing tool. It does include a screen sharing element that you can make use of if that's something that you're interested in. Avoid using too much library jargon, and then use chunking. So that's, sending multiple smaller messages instead of sending one big, like huge paragraph of a message, which is really hard to read in a chat context. You can follow the users, or you should follow the user's pace, as I mentioned, kind of like waiting them to catch up as you go along if you're doing more instruction. Or if they really, really seem to just want an answer, like it's okay to just give them that answer. Sometimes what we do, especially in the case of, like I said, someone's looking for an article and can't find it, sometimes what we'll do is send the link to the article and then say, do you want to know how I found this for next time? And a lot of the times the users are like, yes, you found that so fast. That was like magic. Show me how to do that. But then if they're really busy, then they're like, not going to say that. So it's okay to like give them the answer first and then ask if they are interested in the teaching aspect after. Let links do the talking. If someone's asking for help with something that is already, there's already instructions for that somewhere, like say how to submit an interlibrary loan request. Oh, that's easy now, so they probably don't need instructions for how to do that, but how to submit a request, a scan and deliver a request for like one chapter of a book or something like that. If there's instructions somewhere, you don't need to like translate those instructions or like copy one line at a time into the chat. You can send them the link to the instructions on the library website, but you should accompany that with some sort of like, here's the instructions for how to do that. Like, do you want me to go through these with you? Or here's the instructions for how to do that. Can you take a look and let me know if this answers your question or if you still need help? So like, don't just send them the link and leave it at that. You should be, kind of packaging it with something so they know that you're still here to help them if that doesn't answer their question. And finally, follow up. One of the issues is an abrupt ending to the chat. Unlike, an in-person scenario where you're sort of, you have to, obviously the user has to walk away and they're probably not just going to like turn around and walk away as soon as they have their answer. Sometimes in a chat interaction, the user does like drop off as soon as they have their answer. Another issue is that the user might feel that the operator is limiting their time and really just wants to get on to the next user, and that they feel kind of rushed or like they can't ask follow-up questions. So the best practice on your end is to check that the original question was answered. So just click, did I answer your question? Or if you know you haven't answered their question, for example, if you had to say no to something, if it was a question that couldn't be answered over chat, make sure you provide them with an alternative, such as a referral to another service that would be able to answer that question. Or if you know you haven't answered their question because their question was really about like how to get started on a research project, then a check-in could be something like, is that enough information? Is that enough to get you started? Are you good for now? It's also good practice to ask if the user has any other questions or any other things you can help with. Thank them for using the service and invite them to return. So there are some canned messages that do that. If the phrasing isn't to your liking, you can also create your own canned messages, personalized canned messages, or just as the spirit moves you when you're in the middle of a chat interaction, just say what you want to say. If the user navigates away from the chat, in some cases, they might still come back and the chat history is maintained. This happens especially if someone is using the library website on their phone and using the chat from the library website on their phone instead of on a computer, that it might look like they've navigated away just because they're in a different like app, but they might, move back to that app. So even if the guest has navigated away, you'll see a little message like guest has navigated away. You can still, add the follow-up, maybe something like, I see you've navigated away, but if feel free to come back if you have more questions. We're open till 10 p.m. tonight or something like that. Okay, actually, maybe before I get to common misunderstandings, maybe I'll pause to see if there's any questions at this point. I know it's a lot of information.
Don't have any.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Perfect. All right. Okay, let's talk about some common misunderstanding. So the first misunderstanding that often arises is that the user might think that you work at their home library or that you're physically present in their library. This happens a lot. The way that it's positioned on the website is not as a consortial service. Generally, the best practice is not to reveal that you're not from their institution. We've done some research that found that revealing that you're from a different institution can reduce the user's level of satisfaction with the interaction that they just had. So in general, we recommend that you not do that unless you have to. Feel free to be as transparent as you want about the fact that you're not physically at the library. I mean, everybody knows now that there's a lot of remote work happening, and a lot of our libraries have our institutions have multiple libraries or multiple campuses. So you can feel free to say you're not in the library. That's not a problem. Or that you don't have access to a certain system. If somebody is there to try to figure out how they can get their lost book fine removed, that's not really a chat question. If it's somebody from your institution, maybe you would be able to do that for them, but you wouldn't be able to do that for any other institution. You can feel free to just let them know, oh, I don't have access to the system. Here's the person you need to contact to get that done. Generally, most questions that come in are things that we can find information about on the library website or through those library profiles. So if people are asking about policies or things that are local to that institution, those profiles really help. And there's also a lot of policies that are the same across all of the Omni institutions now. So most questions that come in, you can from other institutions, you can at least make an attempt to answer. If necessary, you can refer them back to the library. In the case of circulation related stuff, you probably have to refer them back to the library. Or if there's some other thing that you can't answer without local knowledge, you can feel free to refer. And if necessary, like I said, you can let them know that you're not from their library if you think it gives additional context to why you're referring them, but you don't have to if it doesn't feel necessary in that moment. Okay, common misunderstanding number 2. The patron is not aware that you're helping multiple people. This, again, they do not see anything other than that little chat box. They have no idea what you're doing to help them or not help them. If you're not answering, they don't know if it's because you're not there, you've walked away to get a coffee, if their chat has like gotten lost in some kind of technical problem and no one's seeing their messages, like they don't know what's going on. So we do recommend that if you are very busy and a chat comes in, that you pick it up, but use the canned messages to stall. We call that parking a chat. We do have some canned messages about like, I'm helping a few other people, I'll be there shortly, those kinds of things. You can also write your own messages if you don't like the canned ones. Generally, users are pretty good, and if they're not, they'll let you know. But once they know that they've been connected to somebody, they're usually pretty happy to wait a few minutes to get your attention. Yeah, it's helpful to inform them of delays, and if it's taking longer than you expected, as I mentioned earlier with going and searching, just like coming back and checking in, like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm still helping someone else. I'll still be another couple of minutes, just to kind of set those expectations. Common misunderstanding number 3, they might think that you're an AI chatbot. This happens a lot. Sometimes people will come straight out and ask you, are you a person or are you a bot? Are you an AI? Are you just ChatGPT? Other times you can just tell because they're like putting prompts in instead of talking like they would to a person. Or sometimes people assume they've been connected to a chatbot and are like, agent, 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 human representative. And you're like, dude, I am. You don't need to keep typing it in. I'm already there. So sometimes that happens, and sometimes you won't know until the end of the chat that they thought that you were an AI the whole time, which is a little funny to experience. But I recommend as best practice, if you use a more informal communication style and let some of your personality through, it really kind of shows that you're a person and not a bot. And also, if it seems appropriate, you can inform them that you're human. So like especially if they ask if you're a human, obviously you would tell them. If you get the sense that they think that you're a bot, like if they're, posing things as prompts instead of questions or things like that, you can also, if it seems appropriate, just say like, hey, just, I'm a real person. I think introducing yourself also helps with that at the start of the chat as part of the greeting. Unfortunately, it's hard to get away from this misunderstanding entirely, but I think it's good to emphasize that we are humans, we are real people answering these questions. I think that was the last of my slides. Are there any questions? If not, then I'll pass it back to Guinsly for the policies and best practices. Oh, you're muted.
Okay, thanks. Okay, hi everyone. Let me set up this presentation. Great. So this is the last presentation of this training for today. It's policies and FAQs. What we'll view today, it's a question related with support, scheduling and staffing, and shift logistics. This presentation is a set of question and answer. The most common question that we receive from operator, and how do we answer them, or what is the correct answer for guiding our operator. Question related with support. Where can I find the report issue form on the web client? The report issue form um, is located, as you've seen earlier, on the library help library profile on library help. You'll navigate to Scholars Portal. It's that simple, but it's actually Scholars Portal. Um, and then after that, on the first section on the top right, it will say report issue form. You'll click on the link to access the report issue form. You can also access it from SpotDoc. SpotDocs is on the main page of, and then you'll have on the right here, need help, report on issue. And what does contains this report issue form? How to fill it? You'll fill it with your name, your email, when did the issue occur, the timestamp, this issue pertain to, that's the fourth question. This issue pertain to which school? Let's say Algoma, and then you'll select what is the issue. Let's say it's a mischief, and then you'll add informations, meaning that let's say you said that the operator from Algoma is not in today. What will happen is that we at Scholars Portal will receive that report issue form, and the school itself, Algoma will receive this report issue form so that we can troubleshoot and this situation, or to resolve this situation. The other categories of question, the second category of question is question related with scheduling and staffing. How can I tell if all schedule operator are present? We show it earlier. On the web client, you see on the contact list, you see that Laura from Western, McMaster, St. Paul, and Goal Fomber, those are the operator currently online. And then you'll check, you'll verify on the Scholars Portal profile that we see earlier, the Scholars Portal profile, and then on the Scholars Portal profile, it has a schedule. On the schedule, you'll verify the time, and on that time, it's supposed to have up to eight operator. Let's say for that given time, you'll verify if Western is there, McMaster, St. Paul, Guafomber. Is there any other school missing for that given time, day and time? Okay. What if an operator misses a shift or relief doesn't arrive? Policy is to report the absence during the first 10 to 15 minutes. Some operator, I mean, all of our operator have others responsibility, and maybe they are coming from a meeting, and which means that there might be a reason that they are late. So we suggest to fill the report issue form after 10 minutes instead of at the hour. And use the report issue form again to signal the absence. And this is the instruction how to find the report issue form. The third and I believe final category is related with shift logistics. How many concurrent chat that I'm expected to work on, meaning how many simultaneous chat that I'm supposed to work on. At the beginning, take as many as you're comfortable handling. If you are able to answer only one question at a time, then answer. When you finish that chat, then you can answer another question. In practice, during the first shift, the first few shifts, uh, probably you'll only answer one chat at a time, but after a while, you'll be able to claim a chat, meaning that you answer the chat and you mention there's a CAN message for that. You mention to the user, to the patron, I'm assisting other user, I'm assisting other student. I'll be with you as soon as I can. How do I decide if I should take a chat? First, you should match the patron to a librarian from his or her institution. Example, here I have a chat from Toronto. I'll verify on the contact list on the left. There's operator from Western, McMaster, and St. Paul. In that case, I know there's no operator from St. Paul's, from Toronto, sorry. Then I'll pick up this chat. The way to identify the school name, it's the username is always the first name of the operator and dash, I forgot the name, with the extension, the school name as an extension, or the abbreviation. Western, McMaster, and St. Paul as an example on this screenshot. What to do with thank you or goodbye chats? While you are staffing the service, you might receive incoming chat that say thank you or goodbye chat. For those type of chat, we suggest that you just close this window. We don't answer those type of message. What happened is that previously to that message, this user or this student was chatting with another operator. And at the end of this chat conversation, the initial one, at the end, what happens is that the system automatically send a message to the patron, inviting the patron to fill the report, fill the exit survey, meaning the satisfaction survey, for this service. If you answer this chat, the second chat, the thank you chat, if you answer it, answer the thank you, hi, how can I help you? You start initiating the chat message. You continue the chat conversation. What happens is at the end of your conversation, the system will automatically again another time send um, an invite to the patron to fill the exit survey form. It's just redundant, and we try to avoid that. So all the thank you and goodbye chat, we recommend our operator to not answer those chat. How does this work for the texting chat? There's at least 2 operator per shift who can answer texting services, who can answer chat from the texting services. Texting operator must pick up all the incoming chat, but they cannot as well match the patron institution to the operator institution. Let's say I am from Ottawa. I'm on the operator from Ottawa University, and I receive an incoming chat from TMU University, but there's already a TMU operator on the chat service. Then I'll leave it for Toronto Metropolitan University operator to answer this chat. What to do with texting chat sent during off hours? What happens is that one of the characteristics of the texting services is that patron can send us the request even when the service is closed. What will happen is that when they send the message, let's say, what time does the library open? The system will send them automatically a message that the library is currently closed. We'll answer your message the next business day, the next day that the library is open. On the next day the library open, the first message that you'll see when you log into your service, meaning let's say the service opens at 10 a.m. today, and the chat was sent, let's say by 11 p.m. yesterday. Uh, at 10 a.m. when you start your shift, when the operators start their shift, they will see this incoming chat message. It's important for that you answer this chat message so that the patron knows that the request has been read, I could say. Um, and you can even uh, preface it with some personal can message, meaning that you can say um, your texting your text message was sent during off hours. We are currently open. Have you find a solution, or do you want us to keep uh, keep finding a solution for your question? It's just because that sometimes the patron has already find the answer of the question that they ask uh, while waiting or for the library to be open. What do I do if I'm in the middle of a chat and it's the end of my shift? Um, let's say today it's currently 11:35. Let's say it's 11:59, and then you're receiving an incoming chat. Um, our policy is that you should alert, operator should alert, send a message to the patron saying that your shift is currently ending. Um, and if they want to, and if they're okay to find for that for this chat to be transferred. Uh, on the operator side, they will try to find a volunteer by on the conference room, the chat for all operator. You can send a message. Is there anyone available? Let's say as a message, is there anyone available to pick up a chat? I'm ending my shift is now ending. And once you find this volunteer, then you can transfer this chat to this volunteer. What do I do if chats are being submitted and the service is scheduled to close? Uh, like it's almost the same as the one before. The one before was my shift is ending, but the service is still open, meaning at noon or 1 p.m., 2 p.m. The service is still open. But in that question, is the service is closed? Is about to close? It will be closed at 5 p.m. Um, and what happened if I receive a message at 4:59 or at 5 p.m.? We should log off promptly when the service is scheduled to close. As long as there's one operator who's logging and their status is set to available, is that every library or 16 school will have their button still open. Meaning at 5:01, if your status is set to available, all the other school will have the chat service button open, meaning that you might still receive some incoming chat. If you can't log off immediately, let's say you are still answering a question from a patron, and it's currently 5 p.m., you should set your status to busy, meaning that you'll not see new incoming chat, and then you'll just completing or finalizing the chat request that you currently have. What do I do if I don't know the answer to the patron request? Uh, First, we like to work with the patron to try to find the answer together. model good research habits. Ask your colleague in the conference room. Sometimes they are asking for, let's say, a room in the library that locally they refer to a special name, but on the library website it's a different name, I could say. You can ask your colleague. If all else fail, refer to a local expert, provide the information to patron, or send the refer to patron to the library email. Any question? No. How do I handle a question that is outside of the scope of the service? The service is open to many our the library users, the student and faculty member and staff, but it's also open to community user that happens to be on the library website. The purpose of this service is an extension of the library reference desk, meaning that it's supposed to it's a library and research related question, mainly. Um, uh, if they are, it's often we often receive question about registration, registration in sense of to register to a department, let's say nurse, for the upcoming year, to enroll, sorry. Um, uh, Use your professional judgment. If you have time, if you're not busy, you can send the link to this is the department. Um, and, uh, Practice chat triage, meaning that the most important is the question related to the library related the question first. What do I do if a patron is behaving inappropriately? That we 2 weeks ago we had a training about how to deal with difficult user. If a patron is making you feel threatened or uncomfortable, you can end the chat at any time. There is a canned message associated with this category, abusive or abusive user. I forgot the category. Abusive or difficult user. Those canned message, there's 5, but it's first it's a warning, and then later on it will be ending the chat abruptly, I could say. The first message regarding the warning, we reiterate to the patron, this is a library related question only. If they don't behave or ask a proper question, you might need to end the chat. And then at the end, if they continue if the patron still continue with this behavior, you can block this chat. We've seen earlier how to block the block button. The patron will be blocked for 24 hours, and it will be blocked only from this local computer. If the patron change computer or use other means of contacting the service, let's say the texting service, it will not block the use. But for the main computer that contacted us, that initial computer will be blocked. And finally, it's really important for the operator to fill the report issue form so that we are aware of what is that there is an issue. We can investigate to see if the user had repeatedly repeated this action throughout the week or the last month and so on. We can investigate, and the school as well. is aware of that. There's other question that can be related with, but that to then put it in this FAQ. What should I do if the chat becomes unstable? Why is it important to keep constant contact with the client? What should I do if I'm having trouble finding an article based on the patron citation? What happened when I transfer the chat to a queue? What is an acceptable time span for operator to claim a chat? How to resolve the logging logout issue on the web client? And ghost operator bug on the web client. We have many more. Is there anyone who has question?
Sure, I do have a question. So, in terms of reporting, dealing with someone at another library, and there's like a technical issue with accessing a database or something, is that an appropriate place to report? Like, do you report an issue in that way, or is there some other way of dealing with it?
Yes, you can. This is a great example. Thanks for asking this. Yes, you can report that the school is aware of that instead of leaving the patron not not knowing what to do. So that we are aware of this, and um, we might be able to follow up with the patron if the patron has this information on this chat transcript.
I see. Okay.
So, sorry. And finally, I wanted to know if you want me to show you how to uh, can I do it? It's recording. If you want me to show you how to use the proxy login, or to log in from a different school.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. For this section, I will only use, because it's being recorded. I will use.
We'll edit that part out of the recording
Okay. Okay.
and delete it.
Okay. So I will use TMU as TMU will have another password next month. Um, um, to share screen. Okay, hopefully you can see the screen. I'm looking for methodology, the science of measurement in engineering. I'm looking for available online, peer review, or the last 2022. I'm just looking for, I could have looked for a database, but let's say I'm looking for a paper. Uh, I'm not looking for open access one. I'm looking for uh, okay, multi-petahertz electronic metrology. This is it's not available online. Oh, okay, they
Scroll
changed.
down all the way at the
Oh,
bottom.
okay. Okay, I didn't know that some school changed because usually the details it's between the sent and the details that is the view online option. Um, Okay, I don't know any of those databases or so as soon as you click on the to access the resource, it will ask you to the the proxy login and password. I'll need to find this information. Hmm. Uh, on the chat windows itself, there's a shortcut to find this information. Otherwise, you'll go to profile. This resource is that I'm helping a student at CMU, and you'll have the username, the proxy password section here. So I will move these Zoom windows, and then I'll oops, type in or copy paste this. And voila, you're able to access this article to help the user. You can access article. You can also access databases. Um, some database, let's say, up to date, or some O'Reilly research paper. Sometimes you're not able to access, and then. But it's only this proxy password is only to access e-resources. It's not to there's a login button on the top right here on the Omni on the but it will not work here. You can only access e-resources, and if it was a physical book and you wanted to reserve it, uh, you will not be able to see how to guide the patron to how to reserve this book. It's only for e-resources, electronic resources. Okay. Is there any question? Are you comfortable with the chat service?
So to reserve the publication, you would have to refer them to the library locally then?
Exactly. Sometimes they might ask you how to reserve a book. You can guide them up to the library page. Re- uh, there's the button to reserve, but if there's any other step after that, you if they want to troubleshoot, if it was a issue with troubleshooting this, and you cannot assist, then you'll have to refer them to the library.
Okay.
I will say everyone uses all of the Ask participating libraries use Primo. They're almost all on Omni. The only one that's not on Omni is U of T, but U of T also uses Primo. So it's the same process at every library as it would be at your home library. You just can't log in to help them troubleshoot or see if there's, something that's unavailable or something.
Perfect. Thank you all for joining in today. We will have the recording later today for you to uh, uh, to watch again, or and we'll also send you a survey to see if there's any uh, topics in virtual reference that you would like to hear about. Example of how to refer student, the proper way to refer student, how to mm, any topic that you have that you're interested. Okay, great then. Thank you very much and have a nice rest of your day. Thanks, Robin, and thanks, Michael. Okay, I'm closing.